I'm Reb Bristi, head Rebel at REBL Marketing, and I'm here today with Dale Robinette, who is a business growth strategist and a specialist in scaling up businesses. Hi, Dale. How are you?
I am well. Thank you for having me on today.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited to talk to you. We've had the opportunity to work together now for a few months, and I'm learning so much from you, mostly that I need to get out of my own way. But my audience, we're marketing focused, but also business owners, entrepreneurs. What are you, based on what you do and how you help your clients, how do you help businesses scale? Like, what does that really mean for a business?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I mean, the thing that I run into is, there's a statistic out there that says there's 23 million companies out there, and yet only 0.4%, less than 1/2 of 1%, ever make it beyond $10 million. And the question is why? What's going on there? What are these companies actually struggling doing? And why can't they get bigger than that? And I'll say that I come out of corporate America. I've been with big companies most of my career. And so it always was a number that stuck in my head, and I wondered what is happening there. And my whole career has been around the idea of growth, and in particular, exponential growth and how to achieve that. So I've spent a whole career basically researching growth. So, and what I found was, people would say to me, well, how do you do that? How do you achieve exponential growth? And what I'll tell you is, everybody's looking for like one answer, that magic bullet that says, this is just do this and you'll be fine. And in reality, it's just not that easy, right? And so, but what I have said is there's a handful of areas that if we just focus in these areas, we can really change our businesses. If you break it down, it's, people, obviously people first. Companies are not these benign entities. They're made up of people. So getting the right people is always the first place to look, right? But beyond that, you have to have a pretty good strategy with the right offering in the right markets. Too many times I run into companies that want to achieve exponential growth, and quite honestly, with what they're offering or where they're offering it, there's really no room for growth. And then you need cash in order to fuel that growth. And then all the tools that create kind of the healthy company, so it's one thing to have all of these things going for you, but you really need to have the right tools. And then the last piece is you have to have a strong desire to actually achieve that growth, meaning a strong why for both the CEO and for the executive team, in that if they don't really have a strong desire to do it, they probably won't pursue it.
Is there a way to help the team build that desire or get to it? Or, is there a tool for that?
Yeah, good point. Good question. The first step that I've always found is it's really getting the CEO and the executive team on the same page. So what I find is that the team is executing an old strategy. Now, for what it's worth, they're doing it with the best intentions. They're trying to keep the lights on, and they're doing their day-to-day tactical things the way they've always done it. And yet you have a CEO that has this vision of growth, and they're not in alignment with their team. So the first step is really to get the CEO and the executive team on the same page with where they want to take the company. So it's not just about growth. It's about providing that healthy environment where the CEO and the executive team are not stressed out of their minds, and the employees have an environment where they can, they're set up for success. And then the last part is there's a culture where they celebrate the small wins, meaning it can't always be stressful and painful. It has to be something that's fun actually to do.
No, it makes sense. And I think that's obviously where a lot of businesses struggle, with the people. So let's say you do go into a company, they've got a strong executive team, they understand their why. Kind of where's the next step, or what's the next phase for that organization to grow and scale?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. There's different people, if you break it down, or different companies, it's all the different areas that I've pointed out. And some areas are obviously strong and some areas are weak. And the point is that it depends company to company on what's happening. But what I've found as a whole is that kind of what's at stake. You know, if you look at the number of employees that are burned out on the job, there's 61% of employees, according to Forbes, are actually burned out on the job. So one of the areas that you have to look is just getting those employees engaged in the business. Disengaged employees cost U.S. companies $550 billion a year, and highly engaged teams actually have a 21% greater profitability. So if there's a place to start, to me, you start with people. You know, you really, if you can get your team operating at that level, one, it's just fun. I mean, everybody likes to win, and it's nice when you're in a good culture and a happy, healthy environment. So that's the first thing. And what you may have heard is people quit people, right? Why do they leave their job? They didn't like their boss, or they didn't like some other human being inside their organization. The second thing they quit is they quit process. So, you know, working for an environment where it's just painful to get anything done inside the company, it's just not fun to work in those types of environments. So in order to create those healthy environments where people are actually engaged in it and enjoying it, you know, these leaders have to be trained, and then you have to put the right processes in place in order for them to really be happy on the job.
Yeah. Do you have an example of how you've helped a company engage their employees and have success with that?
Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting. Every company has their own culture, and so the way you address it from one company to another is always a little different. The one thing I'll say is that with all the tools that I have at my disposal, I let the company actually kind of choose and pick and choose what they actually want to apply inside of their company. Meaning, like I had one company that I'm working with right now, I think meeting cadence is something that you just have to master. It's kind of the pulse of the business. And if you don't have that down, it's really getting to be painful. Everybody hates going to the meetings, right? Yeah. And yet this company actually had a very efficient meeting cadence. We taught them the processes around what the best practices look like. But then what we let them do is actually adapt kind of those best practices that they liked out of the best practices and apply them into their company. Meaning we didn't just say, just do it like this, right? Mm-hmm. So getting the people to buy into the process without losing your culture, if it's a good, positive culture, is actually really important.
Great. I always think meetings, especially now in the virtual world, if you don't have a good cadence, they're just so dreadful. They're so dreadful. And you can see it, even people don't even want to go to fun meetings anymore. It's just, it's become awful, but that's great. So because I have worked with you, I know you have in your toolbox something called the RevX Formula. You want to just tell my audience a little bit about what that is and how you help clients, or what that means to clients?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, the RevX Formula, it's a combination of a couple different tools that we put together to really help companies grow exponentially and put in healthy organizations or create healthy organizations. So there's various tools. There's tools that actually are kind of tactical in nature. There are strategic tools. There's the thing is putting together your strategic plan. There's cash tools that are associated with making sure that you're achieving the right profitability. The whole purpose for us is we're working with companies in order to help them grow exponentially and actually see a vision of, how to achieve that with people that are really highly engaged, a strategy that's actually fun and fulfilling, right? And then executing like a larger vision with a purpose. So it's one thing to have the vision, but if the people don't buy into it or they're not that excited about it, it's really challenging. And then, of course, generating enough cash in order to fuel the company, and then all those tools that help us create that kind of healthy company and run it in a more efficient way. And then the last piece is really working with the team to not only just buy in, but to believe and create that strong desire why around why they're actually pursuing what they're pursuing. What is that big goal where it's not just the CEO who says, I want to achieve exponential growth, but the team says, I'm behind this for this reason. So those are the tools that we use in RevX in order to achieve that kind of growth, or to just work with companies that want to have a healthy company, meaning a fun environment and company that knows how to execute.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love it, Dale. I know you've been able to help a lot of companies, and it's been fun working with you. If somebody was interested in learning more about what you do, and if they can work with you, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Yeah, I mean, they can just go to my website. It's just 𝙍𝙀𝙬𝙀𝙀𝙀.com, and they'll find their way to me. And we'd love to be able to help any company out that really, what we look for is just companies that are looking to create that healthy company, or where I get really excited, of course, is if they want to achieve exponential growth.
Wonderful. All right. If you want to achieve exponential growth out there, get a hold of Dale. All right. Thanks, Dale, so much.
All right. Thanks, Reb.